Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So late last night, we got some incredible new patch notes that dropped for the Phase 5 PTR and a plethora of changes that are going to be really cool. But a little quick thing, look what I got on this past raid. I have this Molten Heat 3 Mage Blade. Finally, it is so cool. It goes on your back and it's like a flaming sword. It looks awesome. I'm super stoked that I was able to get it before we go into next phase. But before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything you guys do helps my channel grow, helps me get discovered, and helps me help as many people as possible, which is the entire point of my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to switch it over here to the patch notes, and we're going to dive in because this is a lot. So generally, PvP damage reduction, players now take 30% reduced physical damage from other players and pets was 20%, and 40% reduced magic damage from players and pets was 20%. So I'm no longer going to be able to one-shot people in AV on my mage. Feels bad. But I think I don't really PvP, but if you do PvP, let me know how you feel about that. I can't really say other than the fact that everyone has FR gear anyway, so I'm pretty much useless as a mage when I did do AV stuff. But PvP's been in a rough state, and I know a lot of people complain about it. So let me know what you think of that change. Next, we have specific changes, and we're going to dive right into Druid. The Nature's Reach talent now correctly increases the range of Starfall by 10 to 20%. This increases the range of to 36 yards or 21 yards when the Idol of Celestial Focus is equipped. So that's good that it's functioning as intended. You hate to see it when that stuff says it will do it and then it doesn't. Tier 2 balance 6-piece bonus, increase 50% chance to crit on Wrath. So Boomkins are going to crank. Tier 2 balance 4-piece, chance to trigger increased, and duration of treants increased to 15 seconds. Alun's Fires, this rune now increases the duration of Rip and Shred of Rip when Shred is used by 1 second was 2 seconds. The Tier 2 Feral damage 6-piece now also increases the damage of Ferocious Bite on targets afflicted by the Druid's Bleed effect. The Tier 2 Druid 4-piece can no longer proc when treants are already active. This would not summon new treants, but would put the proc on an internal cooldown. Dream State and Storm Strike's nature damage increasing effects no longer stack. So really cool to see them actually take the time to make Balanced Druid awesome. I hope they're actually finally at that point where it's a playable. My biggest hope for SOD was that the meme specs like Ellie Shaman, Balanced Druid, all those hybrid classes, Ret Paladins, would have the opportunity to be played in Classic. And that was one of the biggest things I wanted to see from SOD, and it really feels like with these increases that they're going to actually finally pump. Next we have Hunter. The Tier 2 Hunter 4-piece set bonus change to increase damage dealt by your main hand weapon with Raptor Strike and Wyvern Strike by 20% was 5% increased main hand weapon damage. So Melee Hunter is going to crank even harder. Fire and Frost specialization runes now respectively increase your chance to land your fire and frost traps by 6% as well. So that's good. I assume that was how it was already working, but I don't think they really go that. I think they would go their weapon specialization and like nature damage for their Serpent Sting and stuff like that. But Tier 2 Melee 2-seat now increases the dot from Wyvern Strike. Tier 2 Melee 2-piece set bonus Cleaver Strikes is no longer consumed by Wing Clip. The Hunter Tier 2 set bonus Cleaver Strikes now benefits and is consumed by Carve, which is good, I think. Tier 2 ranged 6-piece set now correctly adds up Circuit Sting when refreshed by Chimera Shot. Tier 1 Hunter ranged 6-piece now correctly benefits from Explosive Shot. So just some tweaks and really trying to make that Melee Hunter fantasy work, which once again falls under the sort of meme specs in SOD, so I love to see those changes. Now we have mage changes. Tier 2 6-piece duration from Temporal Beacon and Mass Regenerate changed to 21 seconds was 30 seconds. Tier 2 6-piece bonus, your Fireball's periodic effect gains increased damage over its duration equal to 40% of its impact damage. So this one's going to be very interesting to see if it's worth using. This definitely puts me heavily towards that we'll go 6-piece instead of 4-4. But it really depends if like Frostfire or Balefire affects it, or if we're actually going to have to use Fireball. It'll be very interesting to see where that goes. But right now, I believe Frostfire Bolt does the dot, but I'll have to look into that more specifically. Mage is in a weird place, but as you can see, Mage gets the least amount of changes, so, you know, they feel good. It's pretty simple. Just press, you know, whatever bolt you want to shoot at things. Paladin, without the 6-piece tier 1 set bonus, you can no longer double judge. So I think that's good. It's making the 6-piece good. I guess people were able to do something to cheese it and use double judgment. Judging while 2 seals are active during the brief window when swapping seals will now always cause the lower duration seal to be judged instead of randomly consuming one of the 2 seals. So kind of fixing seal weaving. Libram of Wrath, charged to only gain stacks when Holy Shock deals damage, no longer stacks from healing. Libram of Wrath, damage per stack changed to 20% was 30%, so Libram of Wrath was too good, it looks like. Shockedin was cranking. Libram of Avengement, renamed to Libram of Avenging. I guess someone spell corrected Blizzard on that one. Ada's Amulet has the Paladin specific flag added to it to indicate that it is only obtainable by Paladins, so that's good. You know, it sucks to get class specific gear when you're not playing that class. The proc chance on Truthbringer, both the main hand and one-handed versions, has been increased. Cro-Magnus, Death Talon Wormguards, and Death Talon Overseer, this was supposed to say Overseers, not Overseats, will now always take full damage from holy damage. That's good. I guess they were just resistant all the time or something. Tier 2 damage Paladin 4-piece set bonus was changed to reduces the cooldown on judgment by 5 seconds, was resetting the cooldown on judgment whenever you judge a different seal than your previous one. So it looks like they tried to really dive into that seal weaving, and it kind of was causing problems, so they made it more simple and basic for people to understand. Tier 2 Holy Paladin 2-piece critical strike chance of Holy Shock was reduced to 5%, was 20. That's probably good. You don't want to just non-stop crit Holy Shocks. Infusion of Light. This rune now reduces the remaining cooldown on Holy Shock by 3 seconds on a critical strike, was resetting it completely. So, you know, that's a good bug fix there. Libram of Awe had an issue where it was not correctly reducing the damage of Holy Shock by 75%. In order to prevent it from incorrectly being an additive bonus, the Libram of Awe now reduces all holy damage dealt by 75% while equipped, making this a pure healing Libram as intended. So when I read that, when we looked at the new Librams and stuff, that's what I thought was the goal, so nice to see that actually becoming a thing. Next we have Priest. The All-Seeing Eye of Zuldazar shielding reduced to 25 was 50. Priest 5-set ZG bonus reduced from 20% to 10% bonus shielding. Vampiric Embrace and Season of Discovery. This talent now heals for 5% of shadow damage dealt, was 10, and it can still be increased to 15 via other talents. So I guess people are really using those Shadow Priests as their 5th healer, 4th healer, whatever, and really taking advantage of Vampiric Embrace, which has been really overpowered. Sometimes my Shadow Priests are out healing my healers when we're doing like Kha'Zix, Zergos, and Onyxian, just where there really isn't too much to hard heal. So I don't know how I feel. I like Shadow Priests like having that utility and supportive role. They've had it from now all the way, even in retail now they still have it, so I'm okay with it being used that way. It really does help a lot. Tier 2 Shadow 4-piece now has a 1% chance per talent point in Spirit Tap, was 0.5%. Tier 2 Shadow 6-piece now increases all shadow damage done by 10%, was 20% to periodic only. So just an all-in-all 10% damage increase. Lazy, but effective. I think it'll be good to get those meme specs like Shadow Priest, as we've talked about with Balance Druid and Melee Hunter thus far, on par with the rest, and I think it can be fun. The Tier 2 6-piece has now been removed when the set is broken. The set can be activated by killing a critter that has Shadow Word Pain active, and this will be removed. So, once again, instantly people were min-maxing trying to break the game. Shocker. Not really. Rogue Tier 2 Rogue 4-piece set has been changed to damage dealt by your main hand weapon from the combo generating abilities by 20%. Was 10% increased main hand weapon damage. So just kind of the same thing we've been seeing this theme, just normalizing the damage instead of making it one thing specifically, just a flat out percent to your entire class, which I think is way easier to manage and fix the numbers to feel good. Main Gachet, this ability now actually hit to grant. This ability must now actually hit to grant its bonuses to parry chance and attack power. So I guess if you were getting dodge, blocked, parried, you were still getting the bonus even if it failed. Slaughter from the Shadows now increases the damage of backstab and ambush by 50% to non-players, was 60%. Crimson Tempest can no longer pull enemies from far away. Dream Eater no longer procs twice every time it activates. Dream Eater no longer grants 10 energy per target hit by Crimson Tempest. So very interesting. I'm not entirely sure how, if that is more of a rogue tanking nerf and changes, or if it is a DPS. I feel like it's more rogue tanking because I don't really hear my rogues talk about these things at all. Shaman, elemental focused, it can now normally proc off of overload hits. Totem of Tormented Ancestry, realigned budget-wise to be 10 attack power, 10 spell power, and healing was 15 of each, so just a little tweak. Tier 2 Elemental Shaman 6-piece was changed to 10% increased damage while clear casting is on, was 10% increased damage against targets when a spell has clear casting, 30% against non-player controlled targets. This is allowed for more effects like Overload to benefit from this bonus. No longer has a different value versus non-player controlled targets, so less power is tied to a set bonus. That feels good, feels like they're normalizing it. Elisham definitely needs a lot of love because it is performing terribly among the meme specs. Tier 2 Elemental Shaman set bonus will now activate off of crits from Overload. Tier 2 Enhancement Shaman was changed to your chance to trigger static shock is increased by 12%, 6% while dual wielding was increasing the frequency of Maelstrom weapon. Tier 2 Enhancement Shaman 6-piece was changed to your Lightning Shield now grants a charge each time you hit a target with a Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning up to a maximum of 9 charges. Grants a stack of Maelstrom weapon after casting an instant cast spell with Maelstrom weapon. Additionally, your Lightning Shield can now deal crit damage. So going into all that, that's a lot with that, and I honestly don't fully understand all that because I do not play Enhancement Shaman, but I hope it is a good change to sort of equalize where they're and what they're trying to create. I'm not sure if it's more of a tank change or a DPS change, but Burn. This rune now requires Flame Tongue and main weapon to grant its spell damage. It also now grants 1 spell damage per intellect, was 2 per level. So really making that an enhanced or an elemental shaman rune opposed to what people were using it for with tanking and stuff. So very big change there for shamans. Tier 2 Resto Shaman 2-piece set bonus will no longer trigger from Healing Rain. Tier 1 Restoration Shaman 6-piece bonus no longer synergizes with Overload and procs multiple full value healing waves when triggered. That can proc other healing waves, and that also had chances to activate Overload. So it's just a chain of procs going crazy. Now, some big ones here with Warlocks finally getting them some love because they have been non-stop upset about their Warlock. Demonic Pact. This rune now also increases fire damage done by the Warlock by 10%. Not an issue. This will be changed to 10% to all damage was just fire damage. So it So they want it to be all damage, not just fire damage, I guess. But that's weird to have it to put it there that way. I guess it's doing fire damage right now, and then they're changing it to all damage. Tier 1 Warlock damage 6-piece, partially redesigned. Fire Trance has been removed, and now Incinerate has a 4% chance to trigger the Warlock's decimation regardless of the health of the target. Incinerate now increases fire damage by 40%, was 25%. In an upcoming PTR build, the Mark of Chaos and Decimation runes are swapping places. Shadow vulnerability applied by Warlocks for Shadow Flame engraved can now correctly be refreshed back to 30 stacks without having to fall off first. Tier 1 Warlock 4 set now correctly resets the cooldown on Shadow Cleave. Tier 1 Damage Warlock 4-piece now correctly consumes casts of Shadow Bolt. When unequipping the ZG 5-piece, the player no longer retains the increased Master Demonologist bonuses. The ZG 5-piece now correctly increases the threat of Master Demonologist while in Metamorphosis. Known to issue, this only works with Felguard and does not work with Imp at the moment. Tier 2 Warlock set no longer ignores line of sight. Tier 2 Warlock tank set can no longer crit. Tier 2 tank set can no longer causes life tap to be free if you're more than 30 yards from your target. So a lot of Warlock changes. I know my DPS Warlocks read this yesterday and they were so happy with these. And it'll be nice to see Warlock hopefully close to Mage, because right now you need one Warlock in your raid and then it's just better to take only Mages like it was in Classic. So very interesting. Hopefully it puts them close to the same level and Warlocks can have fun instead of just that pure supportive role. Warrior Greaves of Wrath changed to 26 strength, 16 agility, 13 stam, 10 nature resist, 1% hit was 26 strength, 16 stam, 10. Alright, these are all just changing their boots, their shoulders to some better statting. Tier 1 Warrior damage 4-piece, the duration of the effects of this set bonus is now 15 seconds. Tier 1 Warrior 6-piece, the effects of this set are now 5%, was 10%, and last 15 seconds. Tier 2 Warrior 4-piece now increases the damage of Heroic Strike by 10%, was increased Whirlwind, and that made it usable in all stances. So Warrior's getting a big change there. I know a lot of them were excited to use Whirlwind in any stance they wanted and allow them to weave quite a lot and use it properly, but just 10% more to Heroic Strike is good for single target damage. Then Manticore Sting has a brief internal cooldown to prevent it from back-to-back procs on the same shot. Nat Pagel's Fish Terminator proc rate decreased. Sad. I love, that fishing pole. It's really funny. Eshkandi's stamina reduced to 23, was 33, and strength increased to 20, was 0. That sword is going to be insane, especially here in SOD with the ring runes and everything. Everyone's going to want their Ash Candy. Rank 7, 8, and 10 armor pieces are no longer unique, allowing players to purchase multiple of the same item. Upcoming rank 12 and 13 armor pieces are also not unique. So, saying that upcoming rank 12 and 13, I don't think they've ever told us that we are going to be getting PvP unlocked yet. Like, I don't think they've said that anywhere. I've read all these patch notes for you guys, so that is actually kind of really, really huge news that they are giving that. But anyway, guys, that was a long patch notes. I hope I covered it all. I hope I gave my opinion to you guys. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, but wow, that was probably the biggest patch notes we have had in all of SOD, and I hope these changes, let me know if you play those classes, what changes you like and dislike. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.